Everything I own fits in these 2 bags. I've been traveling the world for 3 years, and this is my life. This is everything that I own. If you struggle with packing or you always end up overpacking, this video is for you. I'm Sean, Queen of DC. I'm a full-time solo traveler. I've been living abroad for 3 years. I help women design their lives to move abroad, guiding them to plan and prepare for a smooth transition. If that's your vibe, subscribe. One of the biggest things I see when I work with clients is how attached people are to their stuff. It really makes it hard to decide what to bring and what to let go of, and that's why people end up overpacking. I get it. Having gone through this process myself, it's emotional. There are memories attached to your stuff, but I realized I wanted more on the other side, and letting go was part of me stepping into a new life. So I am going to show you exactly how I decide what stays and what goes. Get your pen and paper ready. These are the exact rules I use to travel light and avoid clutter. I'm the type of traveler, if I'm staying someplace short term, I don't take everything out of my suitcase. I can just take out the clothes that I need for the week, for the day, I'm fine. If something was to go down, I can just grab all my toiletries, throw it in a bag, and I could be out within 15, 20 minutes, okay? And so it makes it easy for me as a nomad to move around. Rule number 1, clothing. I only keep what I wear. This is from the Da Nang 5K last year, but do I need it? No, why? I have one from this year. So if something comes in, something has to go. So this I'll donate. And now I have this one that I can use to work out, to even sleep in. Can't keep both. If I haven't worn it in 6 months, it doesn't come with me. A lot of people hold on to clothes just in case, but a lot of times that just in case never happens. And when you're honest about what you actually wear, you need a lot less than what you think. For example, I brought 1 pair of jeans because I didn't know where I would end up in the world. End up longer in Southeast Asia. 1 pair of jeans, that's all I need. And I've only worn twice in over 3 years in Southeast Asia. If you're moving to a region, a hot, humid region, we don't wear jeans here. You don't need more than 1 pair of jeans. You don't need jean dresses and jean skirts and jean jackets. 1 pair of jeans. If your body size is hard to find, bring you that 1 pair of jeans because you may travel to other places in the wintertime. You know, jeans are heavy. Here are my jeans. I just lay them flat, keep them in this bag. They've been in this bag. I don't need no more. Listen, I know how it is when you're thick in the thighs, got a lot of junk in the trunk, big booty. That is me. That is me. It is what it is. I know pants will be hard for me to find here. I went to Hoi An, had my girl hook me up with 2 pairs of linen pants. Again, I have a capsule wardrobe, black, and I have a khaki pair. Still going strong. I could wear the black to dress up or casual. Either one. I wanted those colors where I can make it interchangeable. And those I have rolled into my bag. So I just roll those 2. That's it. Because I can always find tops. I just invest in these 2 pair of pants and they've lasted me 2 years. Yeah. Invest in quality items, not a whole lot, and they'll last you a while. Shoes. Ladies, I know we love our shoes, but you do not need to bring more than 3 pairs. I brought only 2 pairs, my running shoes and a pair of sandals. That's it. I wear a size 9, and in places like Da Nang, Vietnam, that can be a struggle, but you can have your shoes made here. Just keep that in mind if you're over a size 9. Shoes are heavy. They weigh your bag down and they increase your baggage fees. Let me tell you how I got through the process of getting rid of clothes, getting rid of special things that I had accumulated over the years living in Washington, D.C. before I moved. I had my friend come over. She went through everything with me. And it made it so much easier because, do I really need this? She's like, no. And I'm like, but I really want it. She was like, you don't need it. An honest person to say, you don't need that. Why do you need that? You're just holding on. You're not going to wear it. You haven't been wearing it. Toss it. So she was really good and helping me pinpoint what I needed and what I didn't. 4 people that I adore and love got my stuff. For example, I love running, okay? I have more running clothes. That's a hobby of mine. I have more running clothes than I do regular clothes. And I had good running clothes. You hear me? I had the best. I gave it to my girlfriend who's a runner, and she loved it. And she would write me and say, girl, this pullover came in handy in a race, or I really like this. I felt good knowing that it went to someone special and that she was going to take care of it. I had over 200 books on my bookcase. I donated that to my girlfriend's store. Those books went right away, and that money went to her grandmother's foundation. You know, I had this banker's chair that I loved. It was an antique banker's chair. I wanted to keep it so bad, but what was I going to do with it? And my girlfriend, who I'd given the books to, she ended up selling it at her shop. I'm like, where does this money come from? My bed, which was great condition, my mattress, that went to my housekeeper. I know where my stuff is. My Alpha System closet, that went to my girlfriend. I can see some of the stuff in her house now that she uses of mine, and she shows me such good condition and it fits perfect. I know my stuff is taken care of. When you're going through this process, think of it like that. Give stuff to people that you care about, that people you think about, that means something to you, so you know it's special and you know they will take care of your items. Because it's hard to part. Knowing someone that you care about and they care about you, you don't have to worry. I'm very proud of my clients, and I want to share the client testimonial. We had a one-on-one declutter session. I offer that session to help you simplify life when you're ready to move and you're feeling overwhelmed, and help you decide what to let go of and what to keep. And this is my client's testimonial who will be moving. Let me share what they wrote. Looking forward to speaking with you soon. Thank you again for your help. You will be surprised at how transformational our conversation ultimately was for me. I will tell you more later. Yes, that's what I do. I love to hear it. People don't come to me for answers. They come to me for results. I'll link the one-on-one declutter session information in the description box below. That's what I'm talking about. Rule number 2, paperwork. If it can live online, it doesn't need to take up space. Before I moved, I digitized everything important. Documents, copies, they're all digital. So I'm able to access those quickly, and you can share those important documents with others just in case you need to get them right away. But I just put everything online. Paperwork reduction is what I call it, and I do that constantly. You buy something, throw the receipts in our bag. At the end of the day, I am cleaning out my bag, reorganizing it. My friends who know me know I'm OCD about packing and about cleaning out my bag, and it's a true story. At the end of each day, I clean out my purse. Anything that I don't need, I toss. There's no need to carry this paperweight around. For example, I usually keep another toiletry bag in here with things that I don't want to check because they're important. But look at this. Let me show you this. Do I need this? Do I need this? No, I do not need this. You know where this comes from? I bought my favorite perfume, and this is another thing I do. Instead of carrying the big bottles, I'll get the small bottles because it's easier to pack. I don't have to worry about it breaking, leaking. But look at this. Look at this. Do I need this? This is what this came in. I don't need this. Toss it. It's paper. A lot of people hold on to paper they never touch, and it just creates unnecessary clutter. Once it's digital, it's organized and easy to access. Rule number 3, toiletries. This is the bane of my existence, particularly in Vietnam. It is hard to find travel size products. So you get these big items, then you have to go and get some little containers, but it's so irritating. For some reason, it's hard to find travel sizes in Vietnam. I can't pack this big bottle. This is gonna weigh down my bag. And so toiletries, if they don't fit in here, or I do have a toiletry bag, if they don't fit in there, they can't go. They can't go. And you don't need to bring all of those toiletries. We have Nivea, we have lotion, We have deodorant. See, I get small size. We have deodorant here. We have Eucerin. So you can buy all those things here because this is what will make your bag heavy. Toiletries. I am one of those persons with sensitive skin. So if there's skincare that you need to bring for your condition, bring that until you can find something that's compatible with your skin or comparable here. For example, this Vietnamese moisturizer, this stuff is good. It's a perfect size. I can pack this easily. It's not in a big old jug or container, so you don't need to pack all that. If you do, just downsize it. Hair care products, bring your own hair care products. You don't have to bring those big jugs, like 10 of them, because they have products here, Shea Moisture, and some other, I think I've seen some other Cantu around here. This is Vietnam, so you will be hearing knocking and building throughout the day. But they have those types of items here in different cities around. I've ordered some things offline. So we have items here. I got this in Japan, actually. If you go to Japan, they got everything you need. Don Quixote. The bigger bottles, I have to put in a smaller bottle. But manage those toiletries because they take up a lot of space and they make your bag heavy. You have to pay extra baggage. It gets really expensive if you're not careful. Here's my toiletry bag that goes in my backpack. This is wonderful. I keep this one in my backpack because it lays flat. Makeup. So I get my makeup in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, in Bangkok, Thailand, because they have bigger stores. They have Sephora, where Estee Lauder, if you wear Clinique, if you wear MAC, they actually have the stores in those cities. A lot of people keep products they don't use just because they bought them. If it's not part of the routine, it doesn't need to be there. But when you're limited for space, you got to be honest about what you actually reach for. Rule number 4, your tech items. Have a system in place. These items are very important to your day-to-day life and operation. And when they're disorganized and when you're roaming through the airport and you're moving around from city to city, you need to know and have a system in place for where you put your items. Going through the airport, I have a special bag that I put my computer, because you got to take it out of the bag anyway. So I have a process. I don't leave until my computer is in my bag, because I thought I left my computer once. I didn't. It was just deep down in my bag, but that was a scary feeling. Take your time, have an organized system, and do that every day. I put my power chargers and my phone in a certain place every night. I keep a system in place because it's easy to forget items as you moving around so much. And my passport, I leave it in the same place because I know if I put it someplace else, I'm gonna forget it. If I lock it up in the safe, you go into the airport and forget that you have left your passport in the safe. I keep it in the same place and I lock it. But I know exactly where it is. If it's not there, it must be in my purse, because it can only be 2 places. It's in my purse when I'm going to the airport, and it's in the other spot when I don't have it in my purse, because it's easy to forget. Get you a system in place. Y'all see, I still have the old school locks on my stuff. I don't care. I'm going to make you work. So every zipper has a lock. You're going to have to work to get this off. I'm going to make it hard for you. Keep a lock on your bags. People are stealing on the airplane. When you put your bags in the overhead compartment, they have a big issue in Asia and Southeast Asia, Hong Kong, and other places. While people are asleep or going to the bathroom or not paying attention, honey, they have a whole ring of people stealing items out of people's bags. Don't keep important items like your passport, your wallet, money in your overhead compartment in your bag. Keep it on you. Keep it in your bag under you, or pay attention. I'm going to make it hard for them by having a lock. They're going to go to the next person without the lock. Put a lock on your bag. Rule number 5, your hobbies. Have your hobbies, especially abroad. You need them, but don't overpack for them. I run, but I didn't bring my whole running closet. I brought the basics and I bought the rest here. I was able to buy my running shoes here, Saucony. They have those in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Asics, which is a quality tank that I like to run in. They have Under Armour. I was able to bring 2 tank tops, 1 sports bra, 2 pairs of running shorts that I can interchange as shorts. And that's what I brought. Oh, and I brought my Chicago Marathon cap from 2014, and I have one from 2015 that is near and dear to my heart, but I only brought one. See? I'm so glad I brought it because the caps here don't fit my head properly. This is lightweight, but these are the things that you go through when you're trying to decide, should I bring both? Should I bring one? I only need one. And visors, I have tons of visors, and they don't even make visors to fit me properly here. Did I bring it? No, this one cap had to be suffice, and that's what I brought. And so I'm good. Think about the weight of your hobbies and what you can get when you arrive. Keep the hobby and lose the excess. Rule number 6, relationships. If it drains me, it doesn't stay. Decluttering isn't just about physical things. It's also about who you give your time and your energy to. If someone or something consistently adds stress, you have to reevaluate that. Rule number 7, mementos. Keep the memory, not the object. I know this may be hard. A lot of people feel like they need to keep things to hold on to memories. But the memory is still there with or without the item, so I'm very intentional about what I keep. People often ask me, when you travel, you don't buy things from the places you've been? For me, no, I gave up stuff, so I'm not really interested in collecting things. And what I do pick up mementos would be things that I can pack light. For example, this bracelet I got in Saigon an entire year. It hasn't come off. It's been over a year. And that's just special. So when I look down, I always know where I got that from. Like this, I like to read. I have a bookmarker. Little things. This is not taking up any space. That's what I mean. I'm very conscious about the things, those that I do keep. Rule number 8, social media. Your environment isn't just your physical space. It's also what you see every day on your phone. And you can control that. If it doesn't inspire or support you, block it, delete it. I have blocked so many people. I have blocked so many groups. I have blocked so many news feeds. I don't want to see the negativity. Block, block, block. But I use the social media platforms to my advantage. And that's how a lot of you all meet me, through social media. So you got to have your social media now. I work with clients who tend to sway away from social media. Social media is a really great resource and tool if you're moving abroad, if you're traveling the world. It connects you with new people in that country or new people around the world. It's a great resource and learning tool. And somebody on there experiences what you've gone through or what you're going through, or may have the information you need. So I always tell them, use social media as a resource, as a tool for what you need. You don't even have to say anything in the groups. It is a valuable resource and a way to connect to the community and build community. In Southeast Asia, that's how we communicate, through housing groups with the community. So you will need social media if you want to look for apartments, if you want to gain resources in that particular area that you're staying. Use it like anything else for your purpose and to your advantage. If you're trying to simplify your life and preparing to move and feel overwhelmed, I offer one-on-one sessions to help you figure out what you need to keep and what you need to let go of. I also put everything I've learned and the steps I took in my How to Move Abroad guide. Links are in the description box below. I wanted something different from my life, and this is part of what it looks like. Letting go even when it's uncomfortable. Now, what's the hardest thing for you to let go of? Leave me a comment. Let me know where you're watching from in the comments. If you've enjoyed this video, be sure to hit subscribe, like, and share this video. Hit the bell for notification of new videos. Until next time, y'all. Peace.